Hi YouTube, Mike here, and as I promised, we're ready to lift this table off. And what I've done is I've got two slings around the way portion of the table, and because that's kind of offset here, I've put a small link chain for a third point of lift and tied that into the lifting chain. See how it goes. Alright, now I'll clean the table off and underneath where the saddle was. Clean up the saddle real good, do an evaluation and see what we have to do to get this baby back to specs. Alright boys, the table is off and I have went over it with the vac and taken all the loose stuff off that I can get off. And you see it just as I saw it when pretty much as the table was first off. So first thing I notice is there's no flaking at all on these ways. I can feel some scoring in here at the back. Yeah, so you know, I could expect worse. Here's the nut, the bronze nut for the lead screw. Now would be the time to replace that if I was going to. If I'm going to inspect the Z-axis feed here, now is the time, because here's the hatch that normally is underneath the saddle. So now I can get at that. Those are some of the things we're going to take a look at. So on to the next step. So here's what I'm finding as I clean this up. Just doing a rough cleanup on it. The ways here look pretty good. They're not bad. I don't feel any wear ridge on them, and You know, they haven't been flaked. I don't think they were flaked from the factory, just ground. So this is the oil galley around here. The used oil, after it lubricates the ways, the oil runs down into this oil galley, comes down here, runs down into this hole, and there's a tube underneath that hole, and the old used oil that's already done its job you can drain out of here as necessary. So I've only cleaned up one half of it. You can see what I've got on the other half. These oil galleys don't have to be perfectly clean, but you sure want to allow the oil to run freely through them and down into that tube so that it doesn't overflow and spill out on the floor. And I did find that the lubrication line to the cross slide nut, or the saddle nut here, is broken, and we'll have to fix that because that definitely needs lubrication. And I think I will paint this down here while I've got the saddle off, because that's exposed, so I'll paint that while I'm here. And along with painting, maybe before it's done, maybe I'll paint the whole saddle because it's pretty beat up. So I'll use the same color that I did for my bandsaw, which matches this paint pretty good on this grinder. There's my bandsaw over there in the corner. You can see, if you can see that, that's the color. And I will paint as much as necessary on here. I don't mind a few scratches and nicks in a machine tool. There's different philosophies on that, and I've seen some of the guys' works that have fixed up some of these machines, and boy, they've done some beautiful jobs on them, and they're just showroom perfection, better than they came out of the factory. But that's not my philosophy. I'm not going to go to that extent on that. I'm going to focus my total direction on just getting this thing back to where it's in factory specs, or at least as close as I can get it. So I can't think of anything else on this. I'm going to go ahead and keep going on cleaning the other side. Oh, in case you're wondering what this thing is here, it isn't, they don't have it hooked up on my grinder here. This is like a little T-slot in here, and there's like a T-bolt that goes up here, extends through the table through this hole, which mine is all plugged up with garbage, and it's a clamp for the saddle. Or maybe I should say a lock nut for the saddle. But I've never used one. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen one on a grinder. Maybe I have. Anyway, we're going to keep cleaning on this thing, and I'll keep you updated as to what we find.